Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be going over the top 7 mistakes I see new entrepreneurs make, and more importantly, how to avoid these mistakes yourself. Avoiding just 1 or 2 of these mistakes can save you tons of time and headache, as well as tons of time and setbacks, and get you to your goals maybe a little bit quicker than if you would have made these mistakes starting out as a solopreneur or a new entrepreneur while growing a business. So let's get right into it. Mistake number 1 is not having a really dialed in business plan. And I don't mean business plan like you probably learned about in school that has to be 20 pages long with all this market research. All I mean by having a business plan is just having a plan, having goals, being thoughtful in your execution, why you're executing a certain way. A lot of people that go out and start like an SMMA or something like that, they just want to start a business and they get in there and they get busy with the day-to-day stuff and they end up working themselves in circles, they end up burning out, and they never reach that milestone that they might have set for themselves when they first started. A well thought out plan is going to help you not only execute, but it's going to help you stay accountable to know whether what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is working and getting you closer to your goals, or if you need to make adjustments. We set our goals in years and we evaluate them every quarter. So every 90 days, we sit down, we look at our goals, and we look at our action plan and we say, if we continue on this action plan, are we going to hit our goals? And if not, and if we did miss goals for that quarter, we know that something has to change. Most of the time, it has to be a pretty drastic change to really see any movement. So having the goals that you can come back and check in on and a plan of, hey, I need to make 50 calls a day to get this many sales demos, to get this many closes, to get to this number of revenue, all of that stuff should be thought out and those numbers should be in your plan. If you don't know them, you'll know them after the first 90 days, because if you get a sale after 100 phone calls, you know for every 100 phone calls you make, you got to keep making those phone calls to get those sales. And don't just take my word for it. According to the Small Business Association, businesses that write out their plans and have a written business plan are twice as likely to hit their goals than those that don't. So just by creating a plan and writing down your plan to get to your goals, you're twice as likely to get there than if you didn't. When I started out, I just wanted to get to work and start making money, but sitting down and being more thoughtful is something that I've learned over the years that I really have to prioritize to get to where we want to go. Mistake number 2 is not knowing your target market. And this is something that I had to learn the hard way, because you might be able to think about what your customers want, but without doing the proper market research, you're not going to actually know what's in their head. What are they thinking? What are they worried about? What keeps them up at night? Those are the types of things that make a great marketer. And you're going to have to be a great marketer to grow a company. I spend a ton of time in Reddit forums. I simply go on Google and I type in, for example, realtors looking for a CRM software, Reddit. And you would be amazed at the gold mine that is in Reddit, because these are your customers. These customers are literally typing about their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their worries, their uncertainties all around your market. And if you can just talk to those certainties, I've had people email us back saying it was almost like you guys were inside my head. Every thought that I've ever had, you guys wrote and copy, whether it be an email or an ad. And we did that because we literally just went and pulled sentences from other realtors that were in our target market that were posting on Reddit that were worried about certain things. And that understanding of the market really allows us to not only make a better product, but to market better and sell better, because we know exactly what they want and exactly what they're thinking. Mistake number 3 is coming into a marketplace without assessing any of your competition. You should know every single move your competition is ever going to make. We have a chart with all of our competitors, their pricing, their offers, and we regularly update this once every quarter. So once every 90 days, we go in, we research all of our competition. We go look at what Facebook ads they're running in their Facebook ad library. We go look at what offers they're doing. We go look at what SEO activities they've been doing. And that way I know every single move they're making and what they're prioritizing. And it's pretty cool to see how somebody else is adjusting their marketing terminology and their offers. But if you can be one step ahead of them at all times and know exactly what they're offering, so when you get on a sales call or you write marketing copy, you know exactly what your strengths are and why somebody's going to choose you over anybody else. Just knowing your competition is going to put you miles ahead, because you should always be pushing that envelope of what's possible, what new marketing tactic can I use, what new offer or strategy can I use? So they're always playing catch up. You don't want to be focusing on the competition. You want them focusing on you. But in order for you to always be ahead of them, you have to at least know what they're doing. Mistake number 4, and this is a big one, not setting realistic financial projections. A lot of business owners are going to start out and they're going to make this spreadsheet and say, oh, I'm going to make this much profit off every customer, but they're not taking into account the Gmail account, the software for the CRM, how much it costs to send out an email. All of these things add up. And this is where you can really put yourself in a bad position when you try to scale. It's fine when you're just by yourself and you know the numbers and the numbers are small, but when you're trying to scale and you take that ad spend from $100 a day to $500 a day, everything scales up with it. And a lot of people are just thinking about their cost of goods and not what it costs to actually run the company. And I've seen this be a downfall, because if you put yourself in that position and you start to scale, and something doesn't work, or you have to buy something, or you have a big refund go out, it can really put you in a bad position. And it can even put you in so bad of a position that you just quit, or you guys go into debt, or you declare bankruptcy on the business of some sort. And this is something you need to avoid at all costs. And according to the book, The Entrepreneurial Mindset by Retha Gunther McGraw, she cites with many examples how it is very, very important to be extremely conservative with your financial projections when you're getting started or when you plan to scale. This will put you in a very safe place to overcome any financial setback that the company may have, and just know that it is going to happen. It is up and down. It's a roller coaster when you're growing a business, so you have to be prepared at all times. Mistake number 5 is your customer service after the sale. It doesn't matter what you're selling, you're going to have to interact with your customers even after money is exchanged, whether it be a service or a product. And over-delivering is one of the most important things that I tell my team. How can we deliver so good of service that they feel like they're underpaying for what we're willing to do for them? And you would be surprised at how far this can go, because a lot of companies out there have subpar customer service. They'll get refunds at a higher rate, which we never want that to happen. They'll also get bad reviews or bad word of mouth. Bad word of mouth on your company is probably the number one kiss of death. If one person has a bad experience and they tell 3 or 5 of their friends, those 3 or 5 of their friends are going to tell 3 or 5 of their friends, and you're pretty much done for. So if you can just over deliver on customer service after the sale, and you can make them feel like they didn't pay you enough for what you're going through with them, that is the key to customer service. And that's what I remind our team at all times when they're talking to our customers. And according to a study by American Express, 78% of consumers have bailed on a transaction because of bad customer service after the sale, meaning they've charged it back, they've requested a refund. There's been something along the way that required them to ask for that money back. And 78% of Americans, that is the vast majority of us. And we never want that to happen with our company, because the companies that get chargebacks, they're never going to last, and you cannot build a good business around that. It's going to end up to the point where you're not even going to be able to charge anybody's credit card, because the banks and the payment processing centers don't even want to deal with you because you get so many chargebacks. Customer service is above everything. Mistake number 6 comes down to delegation and handing tasks off to trusted people in your team. Now, there's a lot of hesitation when you start out as a solopreneur and you're doing everything yourself, and you want to just work more and more and more and more hours until you can't handle it anymore. But what you really need to do is you need to look at how much you're taking home at the end of the month, divide it by how many hours you're working, get that hourly rate. So if you're making $100 a week, as an easy example, and you only worked 10 hours that week, you know that your time is only worth $10 an hour. So therefore, anything that you can hire out for under $10 an hour, you should hire out for under $10 an hour. You should buy your time. And when it comes to hiring, there's a lot of really great websites out there like Upwork. You can hire a lot of people overseas. In the Philippines, they have great English, although their internet's a little shoddy, and India. They're great workers. And sometimes the people that I've found in these remote countries are better workers than people that I've hired here in the US. So don't be afraid to go check those out. Oftentimes you can hire somebody for $5 an hour or even less. But there's a second piece to this mistake, because you do not want to delegate the stuff that moves the needle for the business. So what I will do is I will audit my time. I'll write down everything that I did in a certain day. If I feel like I'm just getting overwhelmed and I need to take more stuff off my plate, I'll look at that list of all the stuff that I did that day, and I'll either put an arrow going up or an arrow going down next to that item. And if the arrow was going down, that means that it was not something that would be increasing the company's revenue. If the arrow was going up, it was an activity that's going to increase the company's revenue. So that's building new sales automations, that's coming up with new offers, that's creating new products. That is all of the things that can actually take our monthly recurring revenue and take it to new highs. A lot of people will just write off everything that they just don't like doing about the business to whoever they can hire, right? And that's not the way to do it. You need to be focusing as the company's founder or a solopreneur on anything that's going to increase your monthly recurring revenue. Anything that's not, that should be offloaded to somebody that you can hire for a lower dollar per hour amount than you're making yourself. And this is an important time in your life, because when you learn to delegate the right things and you learn how to create operating procedures around these things and systems around these things, that is when you're going to unlock a lot more income potential, because you're essentially buying time. Time is your scarcest resource. And if you can buy more time, you can get more done. And if you can focus just your time on the revenue producing activities, you're going to take the company to the next level. And mistake number 7, I see people try to start out on their solopreneur journey or start a company, and ultimately at the end of the day, they're just not in the right environment. They're not surrounded by the right people. They don't have a good mentor, and they don't have a good network. Seeking out a network or a mentor that is actually going to help you in this process can be very challenging, and it's full of complications. However, with today's day and age and social media, you can actually have almost any mentor that you want. There's millions of hours out there on YouTube of really successful entrepreneurs that are creating channels that have had real success, that have had exits on businesses, that have gone out and started new ones, that have documented the whole things, that have just done speeches, podcasts, you name it. You can surround yourself with people that have been successful, that have done what you want to do. And there is no need to go email a bunch of millionaires in your area and try to buy them coffee. You have the access, if you're watching this video, to any mentor that you could possibly want out there. All of their stuff is online, and if they are extremely successful, chances are they've done a few interviews or they've written an article or something like that. Use the internet to your advantage. It sucks being on this journey alone sometimes, and it can be very lonely. So try to surround yourself, even on social media, with smaller entrepreneurs. The more that you can connect and engage with other entrepreneurs, the more success that you will have, because you'll see what they're doing, you'll know them on a personal level, and it's really about showing yourself. If they've done it and they are willing to even tell me a couple of tips and tricks, I know for certain I can do it. So there should not be any hesitation on how to find a mentor or where to find a mentor. Now, in conclusion here, starting a business and becoming a solopreneur is full of challenges, and it's easy to make mistakes along the way. You're going to make mistakes along the way. And as long as you look at those mistakes and say, what could I learn from that? Your mistake was not made in a negative way. Use your mistakes, learn from them, and you will realize how starting your own company or being your own boss can be one of the most rewarding times in your life and one of the most stressful times in your life at the same time. But at the end of the day, it's extremely worth it. I can promise you that. Now, if there's anything else that you wish I had covered in this video, or any lessons from my personal experience building our businesses that you wish that I would share with you guys, I'm more than happy to. Just leave it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope this video helped you, and I hope it saves you a little bit of time along your entrepreneurial journey, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.